Beaver, Pennsylvania is home to Levantis, an Italian restaurant run by newly qualified chef Dino Fratangelo. When Dino's father agreed to invest his life savings, the recent college grad chose an area of town that needed a good restaurant. He was overwhelmed with customers to the point that his sister, Tina, sold her flower shop so she could come and help him out. The restaurant was thriving until other similar places opened up nearby, and the new competition meant their once busy dining room was now empty.
Everything was going fine, and then unfortunately, we got competition. That changed everything.
Dino's lack of experience is also a problem. He has low standards in the kitchen, and the waitresses describe the food quality as gross.
Dino has absolutely no clue what he's doing in the kitchen.
I'm gonna put it on top.
Are you kidding?
And it seems that Tina isn't much better as a front-of-house manager. She struggles to run the dining room effectively and can't communicate with her brother. Things got so bad between them that Dino left the business for a while.
Dino and my relationship got worse, and Dino walked away for about 1.5 years and left the whole business on my shoulders.
Having invested everything he has in the restaurant, their father Tony risks losing $250,000 if the siblings can't work together to turn the business around. As Gordon is driven to the restaurant, he re-watches the emotional video message sent to him by Tina, begging for help. He arrives at Levantis to find Tina already in tears and asks for a sit-down chat with the siblings. Dino explains that he opened the restaurant in 1988 with his father's financial backing, and Tina tells him how she left her own business to offer support. Gordon acknowledges that she has given up a lot to help her family. Chef Ramsay asks them what the problem with the restaurant is, and Tina immediately points the finger at her brother. She explains how he left her to run it alone for some time. Dino reveals why he needed a break from the business. He was worried he would end up hating his sister. He adds that Tina was only working 25 hours a week during the time he was away anyway. The siblings begin to bicker about who works the most hours, and how they speak to each other. Gordon sits silently and watches the argument play out. Chef Ramsay is ready to sample the food, and Tina seats him in the dining room. He is pleased to be approached by smiley waitress Sam after the miserable atmosphere he's experienced around the owners that morning. He orders a range of dishes from the unusual menu, which includes a signature sauce that was literally dreamed up by Dino. The kitchen team gets to work, and Dino instructs them to do what they would normally do. They immediately smash a plate. That doesn't bode well. Gordon chats to a group at the next table, who aren't enjoying their bread and olive oil. It tastes suspiciously like frying oil. Surely not. He calls Tina over to check, and when she shows him the bottle the oil comes from, he takes a quick sniff before deciding that it's off. And then he spots the display desserts, which are completely solid and, according to Tina, have been sitting on the side for weeks. Gordon checks that timescale with Sam, who cheerfully tells him it's been months, not weeks. No wonder they stink. Chef Ramsay labels them a health hazard. Back at the table, Gordon is ready to taste his first dish, a stuffed filet mignon. His mid-rare steak is actually raw, and he suspects it was cooked from frozen. While he waits for his next dish to arrive, he looks around the dining room and discovers dirt, hair, and food crumbs in every corner. He asks Tina how often the restaurant is cleaned.
We do our own cleaning.
You do your own cleaning. I appreciate that. That's not what I asked.
She's unable to answer the question, and she's front-of-house manager. Instead of being embarrassed, she muttered that Dino is coming out smelling like a rose. It doesn't seem like anything smells like a rose in that dining room. And it doesn't sound great either. The old-fashioned register makes a loud and lengthy clattering noise every time it's used. It's time for another dish, the stuffed banana peppers. Drowned in cheese, which Gordon describes as looking like congealed snot. Gordon thinks the frozen concoction is bizarre. And Sam can't bring herself to share his other, less than flattering description with the kitchen team, so she rewords it slightly.
You wanna know what he said about these ones?
What did he say?
Feels like he's eating a donkey's pee-pee.
Sam tells him the problems with the dish start with using frozen peppers, which end up leaving the sauce watery when they are defrosted, in the microwave. An irritated Dino reminds Sam to be respectful. She is ready to deliver the chicken Carletta Capellini, the dream sauce. The chicken is hard, dry, and full of garlic.
Brought together in a dream. Unfortunately, he didn't realize at the time he was having a fucking nightmare.
And Dino stands by his dish and reveals that the idea came to him after he prayed for guidance for months. He doubles down.
My Carletta sauce is inspired by God.
Gordon is ready to share his assessment of Levantis with the chefs and owners. And it's not good. Not good at all. He describes Dino's chicken Carletta as rubbery, shredded, chewy chicken in a weird canned sauce. Dino once again states the sauce was inspired by a higher power. Gordon thinks the chef may have lost his mind.
This is the worst Italian food I've ever eaten.
It's time to get real with the owners. With the inedible food and filthy dining room, Gordon is convinced that neither of the siblings cares about the restaurant. He points out that without their father, they'd be in a big mess. He walks away. Alarmed by what he's discovered that morning, Gordon makes time to speak to Tony, Dino and Tina's father. Ramsay is concerned that the animosity between the siblings is so bad, it may be irreparable. Tony thinks the economy is to blame for the previously busy restaurant's change in fortunes. Gordon disagrees. With over $200,000 invested in the business, Tony and his wife are feeling the pressure, and it's causing disagreements and upset at home. Chef Ramsay returns that evening to observe a dinner service, and he brings Tony into the kitchen to do the same. The chefs show Gordon the faulty equipment they're dealing with. Only a few of the stove's burners actually work. Dino, who is apparently expediting, is confused about tickets and just shuffles dishes around the kitchen instead of organizing them for the waitresses. The servers manage to figure it out and food starts reaching diners, but they're not happy with what they receive. Plates return to the kitchen, with customers complaining of lumpy, watery, and chewy food. The fettuccine sauce looks curdled, and the pasta comes back cold. Gordon starts looking around the kitchen and discovers a container of chicken that the chefs are cooking. It's slimy, green, and sad and stinking liquid. There is another container of fish that is equally disgusting, and a bag of vegetables that are so rotten they can't even be identified. Finally, Ramsay finds a fermented pasta sauce with mold around the top, and they've been serving it. A disgusted Sam thought the mold was basil. Sadly not. Branding the siblings dirty pigs, he insists that the pair should be ashamed and should apologize to the customers in the dining room. While Tina shuts herself in the bathroom, Dino tells the customers that Gordon has shut the kitchen down. Chef Ramsay is furious that Dino is blaming him and would apparently be happy to continue serving rotten food. He heads out to the dining room, holding the moldy sauce. Showing the diners what he found in the kitchen, Gordon announces that he won't be party to the disgusting and dangerous practices he's observed. The servers cringe behind their hands as he finishes his speech and storms back to the kitchen, or tries to, twice. An embarrassed Tony can now understand why the restaurant is failing. Gordon finds him outside with his head in his hands. As he breaks down in tears, Tony shares his background with Gordon. He worked hard at 2 jobs all his life to save the money his children have now lost. Tony vows to get involved with the restaurant now that his eyes have been opened, and Gordon promises to support him every step of the way. The next day, Gordon arrives at Tony's house with a plan. He wants the siblings to understand that their father is the boss, and they answer to him. It's time for some tough love. Gordon encourages them to fight for the business instead of fighting with each other. And if they don't, Tony threatens to close the business and sell the building, leaving them with nothing. Both Dino and Tina apologize to their father and promise to work hard in the future to turn the restaurant around. He offers his children one last chance. Gordon reveals that his team has been undertaking research in the area, and he's decided that what the town needs is an American bistro. Levantis will need to undergo a significant change. Gordon leaves to get started, and his team moves in to transform the space overnight. The next morning, it's time to reveal the results. Everyone removes their blindfolds, and they are all delighted with the dining room makeover. The dark and gloomy wall color has been modernized with clean and bright vertical stripes, and the filthy furniture has been replaced with contemporary chairs and tabletops. The walls are decorated with old photos of the local area, and there is a new central seating area to make the most of the space available. The register has also been replaced with a state-of-the-art wireless POS system to cut down on dining room noise and streamline order taking and restaurant admin. Additionally, Gordon introduces 2 consultants, a well-respected chef to work with the kitchen team, and his wife who will work with Tina and the servers front of house. And finally, the kitchen equipment has been completely replaced, including a 6-burner stove, double fryer, steamer table, and convection oven. Chef Ramsay tells Dino that there are now no excuses for producing poor food. It's time to introduce a brand new menu, which is packed with American classics. The fresh and colorful dishes will stand out from the local competition and taste as good as they look. Before the relaunch begins, Tony takes a moment to sit down with both of his children. He reminds them that he has given them everything, and they are facing their last chance to start paying him back through hard work. Customers begin to arrive and are impressed with the new decor. Orders start coming in through the new POS system, and food is soon hitting the dining room. But as more tickets come in, Dino gets confused and fails to call orders clearly. Diners have now been waiting for over an hour, and Dino has lost track of what's already been served. Gordon tells him to stop and take back control of his kitchen. The consultant steps in and shows him how it's done, calling tickets and pulling the team together to get back on track. The service ends well, without a single complaint about the food. The siblings are keen to learn from the experts and feel confident that they can maintain high standards moving forward. Tony finally has a smile on his face and thanks Gordon for everything he has done for his family. As Chef Ramsay leaves, he concludes that Levantis was one of the biggest kitchen nightmares transformations he's faced so far, and he's not completely confident about the restaurant's future. Will Dino and Tina step up to the challenge? In the following weeks, the consultants continue training the brother and sister team, preparing them and the restaurant for a more positive future. Gordon filmed the Levantis episode of Kitchen Nightmares in June 2012. Rated just 6.5 on IMDb, it was one of the least popular episodes ever. Viewers didn't warm to the brother and sister team running the restaurant and were generally disgusted at their lazy attitude. The food hygiene and general cleanliness levels put some people off ever eating out again, while others enjoyed the inevitable shutting down of the kitchen when Gordon discovered the hidden horrors. And we finally found out where one of the clips from the title sequence came from.
You're serving rotten food! You're serving rotten food!
Dino got a fair amount of mocking for his dream sauce, which despite being inspired by a higher power, was far from heavenly. And Tina's constant tears were met with little sympathy. Though she gave up her business and was left alone when Dino took his leave of absence, viewers were irritated by her miserable demeanor throughout the episode. With the financial pressure on their father, their lack of commitment to their roles was seen as disrespectful to him. But having spent time with them, how did Chef Ramsay feel about Dino and Tina? It certainly looked like he wasn't a fan. While he displayed obvious sympathy for Tony, he seemed to have little time for the owner's children. And regular viewers spotted that he used his biggest insult for the pair when he called them dirty pigs. That's much worse than an F-bomb on the Gordon Ramsay anger scale. In fact, Gordon was so furious with them, he failed to storm out of the dining room not once, but twice, which immediately became a favorite moment for fans. Hopefully, he put in new swing doors during the renovation to prevent a repeat performance. Back to the restaurant. Gordon spent 4 days filming at Levantis for the episode, which aired in February 2013. And it seems he was really surprised at how bad the restaurant was.
What is the one thing you want in this town right now? An American bistro, classic service, casual, family-orientated, and we do not any longer want long-winded, old-fashioned, dated Italian food. Sad news is anyone can open a restaurant. If you had the money tomorrow, you could open one. Yeah. It's not like a dental practice or a doctor's GP. Anybody can open a restaurant. So too many illusions of grandeur when chefs open up and think, hey, we're going to go global, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We do our research, our market research. We find out what the restaurant hasn't got, what it hasn't done, what the locals are craving for, but more importantly, what's happening now. That's the most important part. What's avant-garde? What's of the moment? There's two ways in this business. You move with it or it moves you. Today's not about making big money in restaurants. Today's about navigating your way out of this recession and installing confidence back in the local. So the shock, horror when I first arrived here, they forgot that the customers are the salt of the earth, but they're real people.
Though he obviously reserved his anger for the show, he was spotted chatting and signing autographs after filming and told the young fan to spend lots of time with his parents, as he was missing his young son. The local press offered great coverage of the celebrity chef's visit when the episode aired, increasing interest in the restaurant and causing an influx of customers to sample the new American bistro menu. And the staff at Levantis were happy to exploit their temporary fame, as they experienced the positive effects of their Kitchen Nightmares exposure. Sadly, they don't seem to have made the most of that opportunity. The reviews around that time still weren't great. And Levantis received a 3.8 Yelp rating, and just 3.1 out of 5 on Google. But Dino's cooking is not to blame. He stepped out of the kitchen and handed over the apron to a new team of chefs with impressive resumes. After the initial peak, the road ahead was a little more bumpy for Levantis, and customer numbers once again began to drop away. And as we see so often on Kitchen Nightmares, the blame was soon placed with Gordon. Yes, that's right. Tina told visitors that Levantis should have become an upscale Italian restaurant instead of an American bistro, and customers were missing the classic Italian dishes. So in response, they brought back some old favorites, including the Carletta pasta. Yes, seriously. Sorry, Gordon. It was obviously a reoccurring dream for Dino. So, did the combination of Gordon's fresh new ideas and the revival of Dino's heavenly inspiration secure the future for Levantis? Sadly not. Just 9 months after the show aired, and less than 18 months after Gordon's visit, the restaurant closed its doors in November 2013, when Tony felt it was time to retire. It was replaced by Heirloom, a new American restaurant, which received pretty good reviews. And though the decor changed significantly to a warmer and more natural vibe, Gordon's central seating area remained, as did the carpet, which was apparently filthy. Chef Ramsay wouldn't be happy. But reviews usually stated that the food was pretty good, and better than the post-Gordon Levantis menu. But Heirloom didn't last long either, closing for good in 2018. The location is now a candy shop, and it looks like it's a great one. But what happened to the team behind Levantis when the restaurant closed? Let's start with a fan favorite, smiley server Sam. Sam is often mentioned when viewers are discussing their favorite ever Kitchen Nightmares waitresses. Fans loved her sweet and cheerful disposition, and how much she seemed to enjoy the experience. Did she throw the siblings under the bus? Viewers don't think so. She just watched the fallout as they threw themselves under there. We're pleased to report that Sam still seems to be as happy as ever. She's been married for 10 years and has an adorable little boy. And a very beautiful dog called Shaka. We wish Sam and her family continued happiness for the future. And what about the Fratangelis? Well, they all keep a pretty low profile these days. Tina lives in Pittsburgh and has a teenage daughter. She still posts under the Levantis Bistro account name on X, which was set up immediately following Gordon's visit in June 2012. But we don't know what she's doing for work these days. What happened to her brother, Dino? Dino is now a property manager, working for a firm that offers services across western Pittsburgh. It's apparently an area he was working in before he took his father's investment and went into the restaurant business. As for Tony, as we mentioned, he made the final decision to close the restaurant as he wanted to retire. And while he doesn't have an online presence, Tina posted a photo with him a few weeks ago at his granddaughter's graduation, and he looks happy and healthy. We hope the siblings manage to rebuild their relationship, and wish everyone involved with the episode all the best for the future.